Look what I got. How cool is that for a nice little Brucey bonus? Free cycling cap. Thank you guys, much appreciated. They obviously know the influence of this global phenomenon that is the WKG WhatsApp vlog. Got the new free hub and free hub body. I will, this time, show you the procedure of removing the old one, fitting the new one, so you can see exactly what I was talking about in my very poorly made video previously, trying to describe the process. So, on with the technical stuff. Right, first things first, remove the front wheel. No. Okay, first things first. Remove the back wheel, which means obviously putting it on the small ring at the front and the smallest cog at the back. With eTap, you can do that with this little extra button that's on the derailleur here, rather than having to reach for the front lever. So a little double click. No, that's the wrong way. Single click, moves it down the cassette. There we go, into the smallest cog. Remove the skewer. Right, now I'm just going to move the bike stand out of the way so I can sit over there and do the wheel. Need grab a couple of tools for removing the cassette and getting the hub out in the first place, and then I will show you the kind of state it's in even after I gave it a good old clean up. Okay, the tools you need for this are pretty basic. You need the correct spanner adapter that fits whichever cassette you've got. In my case it's a Shimano. You will need an adjustable spanner to fit that adapter, and you will also need, for undoing it, a chain whip. This is a bit awkward, the position I'm trying to do this in, so it might go horribly wrong, but we'll give it a go. Put the chain whip on. Easy peasy, there we go. And then that'll unscrew by hand. Take the chain whip away. Now to remove the actual free hub, you need two 5mm Allen keys, and if I've got one here handy, I do, 10mm Allen key. You start off with the two 5s, and I'll try and get this as clear as I can on the limited camera view that I've got. Quite simply, one in each end, turning counterclockwise until you feel it go, and then you will be able to remove, firstly, the non-drive side, whatever this bit is, like a cap. Be careful, there is a metal washer in there as well, so be careful to keep everything together. Place that down. You'll also find one of the sort of weather seal cups is there as well, which I'm going to take out myself rather than waiting for it to fall out, because it will fall out when I remove the hub, or I think it will. So that as well, if you can see that goes in first, then the metal washer, and then that cap. What that reveals on this side, if you can see that is where your 10mm Allen key is going to go. So fit that in, and then you can continue to undo it using the 5mm Allen key on the other side and the 10mm on that side. And there we go. You can see it's starting to come out. So there you have the cap for the drive side. Pop that down, and that will now just slide off like so. Actually, it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. I did quite a good job of cleaning it up, but as you can see, some of these little springs, well, I say as you can you see on that camera? I don't know where this focuses at that distance. These little pins that spring in and out, they basically catch the teeth on the inside of the body there, and that's what enables it to lock in to give you propulsion. Where it let far too much moisture in, these were built up with grime and grit and just weren't springing back basically. They're much better now since cleaning and re-greasing them, but there's definitely a little bit of grindiness still. I do actually think there was some surface rust on this, which I cleaned off when I took it apart and put it all back together again, and the surface rust is stopping it from being optimal, but it was good enough. I went on a ride the other day, my last video, if you want to check that out. It felt beautiful, felt absolutely fine, but I do have concerns that some of the damage is a little bit deep set and it might cause me problems out on a ride, so rather be safe than sorry, just replace the whole unit. Thank you very much to Hunt for sending the new unit free of charge, by the way. I know I mentioned that on a previous video, but it's always nice when a customer services just deal with a situation without an argument, just acknowledge that there clearly was something amiss, and put it right without any kind of quibble. So right, so that's off. So what you're left with is the axle. There is a thicker washer there that you can see, or can you see? That basically goes on. That's all grease, so I'm not gonna mess around with that. I'd clean very thoroughly. I'd clean the inside there as well, where the teeth are that the free hub locks into. So that's all done. Right, let me get the new free hub. Just get some tissue and wipe my hands down a bit as well. Okay, I've just seen there was there is the rubber weather seal that was on the old free hub. It was just actually sort of stuck down inside the body there, and it's seen better days. So clearly that wasn't doing a good enough job. That is the area where they felt it might be faulty. So I've just removed that. I'm going to give it a bit of an extra wipe on the inside there before I put the new free hub on. So 1 second. Do you know the beauty of making my own t-shirts is I'm never short of rags from the prints that go wrong or the ones I do design tests on. This was original I Love Mont Ventoux t-shirt. Decided not to go with those colours. As such, I've got a nice clean rag. Okay, that's all cleaned up inside. So with the new free hub came a new weather seal. So let's just push that in, make sure it's right in there, sitting nice and flush. Yeah, that looks good. I've taken the little metal sleeve off from the axle as well, because the new hub came with a new one. This is all freshly greased, by the way. If you're replacing it, having not cleaned it for a while, it's worth cleaning it all off and re-greasing it. But I literally did this a couple of days ago, so it's all very clean and greased in there. Anyway, right, so that's on, and then to put the actual free hub on is as simple as sliding it over that little sleeve that you just put on. Little tip, slight pressure pushing it in. Obviously you need those teeth that are springing out, you need those to somehow get inside, to compress, to get inside so they can spring out and lock into the teeth on the inside of the hub. So just slight pressure pushing it inwards and rotate it counterclockwise. And there you go, as you can see, that pressure forced the teeth in. It's now in. Lovely jubbly. Now it's just a very simple case of reversing the previous steps to get it all back together again. So starting with this drive side cap and a 5mm Allen key, just place it on, turn it gently so it catches hold. 5mm Allen key in, 10mm Allen key on the other side, and you want to go clockwise this time to tighten that up until you feel it. There we go. Don't want to over tighten it, but just make sure it's got a good grip. Then keep the 5mm key in there. Get firstly the little plastic cap goes in like so on the non-drive side. Then you have silver washer like so. Then the cap. I don't know what these are called. I'm sure there's a much more technical name, but I'm just calling it a cap. Once again, just hand tighten. Get your other 5mm Allen key, which of course I can't find. What have I done with that? Anyone see that? Can you see where it is? You're all shouting at me. It's like, it's behind you. What the hell have I done with that? That's not it. That's like a 6 or 7mm. Right, this isn't the same one, but this is a 5mm, I believe. It is, right. It's not the same one that I had. Don't know where that's gone. Right, anyway, straightforward. In you go, turn clockwise till you feel it tighten up. Boom, same again, fairly tight, don't over tighten it. And beautiful, I'm sure you'll all agree. You don't need to see me putting the cassette back on and putting it back on the bike. And to be honest, I'm such a klutz that I tend to fumble these jobs anyway, so don't really want to film it. You won't learn anything from it. So that's how to replace the free hub on a HUNT Aero 38 Carbon Aero Wide wheel. I think it's the same free hub on the 3650 set that they do now as well. So if that's what you tuned in for, switch off now. But what I am going to cut to is in anticipation of tomorrow's final round of the WKG Racing League on Zwift. I just want to run through a couple of observations and potential scenarios, just because I'm getting myself all worked up and hyped up, and I feel like I need to talk to someone about it, and you guys are probably the best people to talk to. So give me 1 second to put this back on the bike. I'll jump over onto the Mac and run through a couple of permutations that could be really interesting for this final round.
Right, let's jump into this. Go to the league table. There's one particular battle I want to focus on, but I do know there are others in every category. Obviously, you can see here, Maxim Golev won the league. I do know all the leaders, all the winners of each category. I'm not going to go too far into that right now, because I'd rather make a separate video where they get the credit and the fanfare that they deserve. But Maxim Golev. Right, so then we've got Martin Backett and Brian Roden. They're close on points, but at quick glance, it looks like, because of the way only your best 15 results works, I don't think Brian can catch Martin, even if Martin didn't turn up. So that looks safe. What looks more interesting to me is between Blair, Jamie Woodward, Cassie Baldy, and Frank Storley. I'm not ignoring Paul Sharp deliberately, but he's not done enough races to get into the final reckoning. So that looks like where the battle is, and the positions could change in the A category. Quickly moving on, I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but like I say, this is just a little short video because of a couple of things that have been on my mind, and I'm sure you'll understand. Most of them focus on the C category, which is where I'm racing currently. But in the Bs, we have Nicholas Nielsen's won it. Unbelievable. Again, I'll do a more dedicated video. Wilt's rider can't be caught by Duncan Bruce. Can Duncan be caught by Hans? Now, this one I do want to check. They've both done enough races, but Duncan... Yeah, so Duncan can get a maximum of 11 points, even if he wins, because his worst result would have to be... Actually, no, because it takes your best 15 before it starts deducting, doesn't it? Right, so Duncan can take full points. So Duncan can take a maximum of 20. Hans can take a maximum of 14. Right, even if Duncan doesn't turn up, Duncan's got it, because Hans, even if he wins the race, would fall 1 point behind Duncan Bruce. That's all right, that was just one of the ones I wanted to check. Again, as you can see, look, we've got... John Bythway's not far behind Hans-Petter Summerson. Then we've got John David Parry, Rudy Pausman, Jason Masterman, James Crocombe, Paul Crocombe. Maybe not so much Paul, but from James up to John David, those four guys, those positions are all up for grabs very much. Further down, we've got Nick Taylor. Oh no, Nick's only done 8 races. Okay, so we've got Vela Viking, Paul Sturgis, only 4 points apart, both done 15 races. Those positions are up for grabs. Likewise, Dave Crook and Chris Davis and Jack Peterson. So you three guys, Jay Gorilla, Dave Crook, Chris Davis, all battling it out for positions, all very close. So it's up and down the field. So there are loads of little battles to watch out for. Right, again, going to ignore the Bs. Sorry, guys. C category, this is where it's all happening. Obviously, the most important category for now, because next year I'll probably be a D. But anyway, C category, Paul Trilk, unbelievable job winning the league. I'm going to make special mention, not just because they've got a tight battle, but Len Capel, Jim Pocock have competed in so many WKG events and are always up there. Consistency, strength, power, speed. They're always there or thereabouts. So well done to you guys. And they're separated by 1 point, which is really exciting. I don't think Matt Seafried could catch... because he's done 14 races, so he could take a maximum 20 points. So yeah, he could throw himself in there as well. So Len, Jim, Matt, they could all move around. Gordon Jackson can take a maximum of 11 points, I believe, because he'd have to remove the 9 points he got for round 9. So the maximum he could take is 11, bringing him to 233. So he could take Matt's, but none of the others. And then we got Gert Anderson, Stuart Bailey, Percy Santamaria, all battling it out with what I think... I mean, I was tempted to not even race myself because of this battle that is just below those three guys. I've been binge watching Game of Thrones, so I've seen some pretty epic events and situations whilst watching that program. There was the Red Wedding, mind-blowing scenes and drama. Battle of the Bastards, incredible cinematography and the emotion and the drama involved in that as well. But I think both of those will pale in insignificance to the Duel of the Dentons. Catherine Denton, 19 races, 181 points. Keith Denton, 19 races, 181 points. Both of which will lose their worst score, but I think there's only 1 point separating that as well. So the maximum Catherine can get will be 12? 12. The maximum Keith can get will be 13. I mean, it doesn't get much tighter than that. So like I say, I was tempted not to even race so that I could actually focus on those two and basically just commentate on their race. But I stupidly agreed to a little wager. I've made a bit of a daft bet with Darren Hunter on a winner-takes-all basis. It was a knee-jerk reaction from me. He threw it out there on a forum, and I basically just sort of said, bring it on, big man. And then I realised Darren's on half my points, so I've got absolutely nothing to gain through this at all, and everything to lose. So I'll stick by it, though. It gives another little tangent, another little aspect to the race to make it a little bit more exciting. Prior to that stupidly ill-advised wager, my focus was well and truly looking forward at Paul Elliott Kowalczyk, who is 11 points ahead of me, and Dwight Williams, who's 10 points behind me. Excuse the cat meowing. Paul Elliott is a really, really hard task. Not only has he beaten me in all but 2 of the races that we've both been in together, but also, having done 12 races, he will take all of the points that he accumulates in the last race, whereas I will have to lose. Oh, in actual fact, I got some 1-pointers, so even if I won, the maximum I could get is 19 points. But that is I'd have to have by far my best performance of the season, and Paul to either not turn up or have just a bit of a stinker. So then my focus was more on Dwight, coming from behind. Dwight's in amazing form. He's been doing the Sufferfest training, workouts, and is in a really strong place. And then I get a little message saying he's stuck in some weird place called Edinburgh, something like that, in some little country that no one cares about or has ever heard of. So he can't make the race. So I'm not under pressure from Dwight, unless he's just like, he's bluffing me and he turns up on the line, in which case my heart rate, you'll see it just go through the roof. So potentially I can ignore Dwight, I can ignore everyone else behind me, apart from Darren Hunter, and I'm going to throw Kevin Wilshire into this bet as well, because Darren and Kevin are on 27 points each. If either or both of those beat me, I will request that the legendary Percy Santamaria, who does the results for the C team, I will request that both of those guys jump up into my league position, and I'll be relegated to the lowly depths of wherever they are languishing in the league at the moment, an embarrassing 30th spot, wherever they are. But no, I think it would just be fun. I'm kind of fighting. I'm not even in the top 10, so I'm fighting for pretty much nothing, especially given that Paul Elliott's going to walk away with it. Dwight's not chasing me. So that throws a really exciting dimension for me. Hang on 1 second. Throws a really exciting dimension into the race for me. I will probably just wheel suck the 2 of them until the last lap and then just absolutely embarrass them. Possibly shouldn't have just given away my race tactics, but that keeps it exciting. I'm really pumped for this race. It's been on my mind, which is why I thought I'd share this with you, looking through the categories. I'll just jump on the Ds quickly because I know there's some battles there as well. The winner, Mr. Martin Overweg, really, really strong season, and actually provided me with quite possibly my most fun Zwifting moment in history with that sprint to the line. Sadly, it was followed up just a couple of rounds later with one of my most depressing Zwifting moments, sprinting to the line with Darren Hunter and Dwight Williams, which has become a meme, it would seem. Anyway, Martin's got that wrapped up. I can't even work this out, but just looking at the points, Dirk, Peter, Stephen and Mike, looks like all 4 of those positions could change in any order by the end of the final round. Nadja is safe from Noel because Noel's not done enough races to qualify, so everybody just forget about Noel. Forget he even exists. Get him out of your consciousness. He's nothing. So Nadja, you're safe. And then everybody else down from there, I don't think has done enough races. So in the D category, Martin takes it, Nadia's safe, and then it's a battle of see which order Dirk, Peter, Stephen and Mike come in. So again, fights up and down the field. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to share that. Like I say, I'm pumped for this one. Raring to go. This whole new dimension with this ridiculously stupid bet with Darren and now Kevin. Just spices things up a little bit. Bring it on.